Hey everyone, welcome to my channel guys, and in this video I will be watching the interview that Faasil gave to Baradwaj Rangan on his channel Galata Plus. So it's like a 46-minute interview, and yeah, it's gonna be a long reaction, so sit back and relax, grab your coffee like I have, and basically, so wherever I have to share my thoughts, I'll just pause and share my thoughts at that point of time. So yeah, let us begin.
Hello Fahad, welcome to Galata Plus. Thank you for limping your way here. Your leg is not okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
slipped and fell
I'll manage,
and that kind of a thing. But you don't like giving interviews.
It's not that I don't like. It's just that I don't know what to talk. It's because I don't talk. I make films. You know, that's the easiest way for me to communicate to the
When
audience.
you're at home with your wife,
Huh?
you talk.
No, we don't have to talk cinema, right? Interview, I only have to talk about cinema, and there's nothing much I talk about cinema.
Okay.
I'd like to do cinema than talk about it. Or
Aren't there people that your friends like Amal or Sham or somebody like that, where you say, "Oh, I saw this great movie. This is what this thing's."
that's the thing. I never talk about cinema to these people.
You never talk.
I talk my
You and
personal
Sham
stuff.
Pushkaran run a studio.
We never talk cinema. We never talk cinema.
This
Like,
is-
I go to
This is already so interesting. This is already so interesting because you get a different perspective of him being like him not bothering at all. Like there are people like that because you would expect of someone's who has a caliber like Fahad to you would want to listen to his insights about cinema and what he thinks about a certain thing, and also he runs a production house. So him saying that I don't talk about cinema at all. So it's already interesting. Like, so what are they going to talk about for 46 minutes, huh? Let's see.
go to him, he tells me about something he read somewhere, he tells me about someone he met somewhere, or he tells me about a story that one of the director friends told someone.
Okay.
So it's never about, do you see that film? Or can we do something like that? Not single time I've had a conversation like that. And to
Okay.
be honest, Dileesh Podan doesn't watch any films other than his films. So for me, okay, with Amal, we do talk a lot about cinema because he's an encyclopedia. You go and ask him, Chata, which was that film, that came out in the 80s, and he'll easily give you that. So my prep or my my interactions with the close circle are never about cinema. It's more about life, and it's about what I see.
Don't you
out
think
my
that's how it
window.
should
So
be?
you're saying that it would be easier to do this.
I mean, actually, it's true, right? With your closest friends, you don't really talk about work, right? You just talk about different things like life and what's happening with families and stuff like that. That makes sense to me completely. Like, he doesn't have to talk about cinema all the time, right?
This interview, if I were to ask you about,
It'll be easier
how's
for me to-
Nazriya, how's she at home?
Okay.
Yeah,
All that's good, but if you ask me about Aavesham, I'll say it's easier for me to show you the film than talk about it.
right. And we are going to talk about Aavesham.
Yeah.
So,
but about my wife, I can talk how much of it.
yeah, but this is unfortunately not that kind of interview. So, yeah, so, but I hope she's good. You know, this
Absolutely,
is, yeah.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
but,
Rich
you know,
producer.
Yeah.
Rich producer, I'm saying.
Yeah. You know, I was just looking at
He's
your
not
filmography,
hesitating.
and
Bro
I
didn't
realized
hesitate.
that your last few films, you haven't had like a heroine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, is he deliberately choosing films where
My director.
Yeah.
So someone asked Jitu, how come there's no heroine in Aavesham?
Okay.
Yeah.
And he immediately said there was no heroine in Romancham as well.
Yeah.
That's when he realized, oh my God, I don't have any,
Yeah, because even
But if
Nazriya's
it
role in
doesn't
France,
Huh, huh.
I mean, there are
require,
glimpses
it's
of
okay.
it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's actually no, like, the man-woman thing that never happens for you in your movies.
I'm going to look at it.
No, I'm not asking you to look at it.
No,
I'm
but
like,
so I've done only what excited me. There was no plan, or there was no intention to such kind of films.
Right.
I just did what excited me.
right.
But yeah, I want to explore more with the man.
Yeah,
woman.
because even in Pachum,
Yeah,
which is the
yeah,
film
yeah.
that I really liked, it's more about cheating and this and that.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
not like a conventional,
I know,
like a romantic.
And also, every time I think about doing a love story, the taste is also a factor, right? So I want to do something which is today's Maunaragam, or something like that. And
Right.
It's not easy. I mean,
Yeah.
the
So-
world's changed so much. It's not easy to give your take on a marriage that easily now.
Right.
So
Okay.
I want to discuss
Interesting.
something, but it's too early to say
Yeah,
that.
because I'm thinking of at one point there was something like Anayam Rasulum,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But like for the longest time,
Yeah.
you've been either a
No,
married person,
I'd love
like
to do a revolutionary road. I dream to do something like that.
a revolutionary road.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is very
But yeah,
interesting.
no one calls me for that.
Yeah.
Directors, please take note. See, he's saying nobody calls me for that. Why not? Why not?
So with Aavesham, who dreamt up this reintroducing Fahadh Faasil thing?
I think everyone. I think primarily the discussion started from Jitu only. I think Jitu and Nazriya started talking about it.
Okay.
And so we never thought of having that as a what do you call on the titles or anything. But and eventually everyone who started seeing the film somehow were excited about seeing a new me or so then eventually everyone decided, okay, fine, let's just reintroduce him. And I was not giving any promotions or anything, so they wanted something to push the film.
Right.
So.
But why reintroduce? Is it because a Fahadh Faasil zone is usually something else and you're pushing yourself into a new zone? Was that the thought behind the whole thing?
That's one. Two, I've never approached a film like this. I've never been worried if audience would like a moment or is the moment massy enough. For me, it was all about, okay, let's stay within the cinema and decide. Let's just stay within the narrative and take a call. But with Aavesham, I've let that doors open and explore. Let's just go one tad. So with Aavesham, the attempt was always that to just go a little above my usual, what do you call, boundaries or
Pitch or
whatsoever.
whatever.
Yeah. And if you look at it, Aavesham is actually written for the audience in the sense that the film is actually moving with the audience than with the
Yeah.
character or any of the.
I think it's
other
a bit
factors.
of both. I think for me it's a bit of both. He's right, it does move with the audience, but I think the character is taking the audience to that journey. Like, we are not taking, like, it's not the other way around. Maybe it's both together, for me at least.
I've not approached anything like that earlier. For me, it was I wanted the screenplay to move organically. So with Aavesham, no, I said no. Let's try something else. Also, I mean, Jitu came to me with something which is very commercial and
Yeah.
So maybe I've not approached anything like that before. That's the main reason why Aavesham is so new to me.
The way I saw it, you're still within character in the movie. It's not like you're within the character of Ranga as well.
Ranga, yeah.
You're pretty true to that. It's not like
Yeah.
you're just doing mass for the heck of it. It's like a
Exactly.
Yeah, but isn't it very hard to stitch this thing? I mean, you have to see every detailing that you've always given for your characters. At the same time, he's loud. At the same time, there's love in him. There is concern. There is another side. So
That's what I mean. That's like, for me, Aavesham, I say this in my review also. It's not just like a story, like a funny story of a gangster. This is so much more to that. I mean, Ranga is a lonely character. Poor chap, huh? We feel sorry for him in the end, of course.
sadness in him.
there's a sadness in him. Yeah. So to stitch all that to a character like this, a character who's so loud, I think that was a little challenging to bring in all these elements to someone like that. And I'm not the first person to do that. Mamuka has done it so royally with Rajamanikam.
Yeah.
Okay.
The attempt was to remind people of a character played by another hero 20 years back, or I wanted to bring back the excitement of watching an old film.
Yeah.
In screen. Yeah.
And that was what Jitu's.
Absolutely. So Jitu is a very interesting person to interact with. I think he's a director I took the longest to crack. I think.
Oh.
We were into shoot, and so we started with the bar episodes where I made the kids and all that. We're shooting. He's moving on, like third, fourth day shoot. And I ask him, "Is it falling in place?" And he's like, "Yeah, it'll fall."
It'll fall.
It's not. So it took a long time for us to crack his energy. I mean, Ranga's energy or the way he spoke to the kids. So one example he gave me was he's a center of a circle, and his distance to everyone is the same. He's like, I mean, the radius is the same to everyone. So whoever he wants to get closer to, he'll call them inside.
Yeah.
So that was a very interesting description that I got. He's the center of the circle, and everyone is on the, the diameter. I mean,
Yeah.
So, and he would call people he wants. So he would call Amban, he would call the boys, he would call Nanjappa.
Interesting.
And everyone is pushed back to the other. So that was a very interesting. This thing he gave me. So, I mean, we worked around all that, and I didn't do it alone. Ranga wouldn't be Ranga if Samir Tahir was not there, Sushin Sham was not there, Ashwini was not there. So, we all brought him together, I guess.
What is the difference between playing a larger-than-life character like Ranga versus a larger-than-life character in a larger-than-life movie like Pushpa?
Pushpa itself is so the setting is larger than life, right? Aavesham is set in Bangalore. You see Bangalore, like, you land in Bangalore, you know where Aavesham is happening.
Yeah, okay.
Pushpa, it's set in the 90s, and, I mean, the geography is set, the characters are set. So, everything is set for Pushpa. Aavesham, we've set the film in the right geography, or, So, I think the approach is different, and Pushpa can be set anywhere.
Right.
Aavesham cannot be set anywhere.
Right. So you're saying that there you're playing a larger-than-life character in a movie that's larger than life.
Absolutely.
And here you're playing a larger-than-life character in a very normal, regular surrounding.
Regular surrounding, you may say, but that regular surrounding, Aavesham regular surrounding is a little, sort of
Notched up a little.
Malayalam films, but
Right.
I mean, I don't know if particularly for Malayalam, but I'm just saying it's notched up, like how I see it. It's like it's notched up a little because of the music and the way the film is basically executed, the story. So otherwise, it's like, okay, fine, we need to find someone. These three boys are there. They're getting ragged and bullied, and they need to find someone for revenge. But I mean, it's a very simple kind of storyline, but that's what, he means, like the execution. It's massy because of the execution.
but the approach is what is different for Pushpa and
Right.
Aavesham, I think. Yeah.
So when it comes to, again, reintroducing you, and from your, there was a phase when, according to me, there are two phases of Malayalam cinema in recent times. One is the time the pandemic happened, started, and suddenly people started watching like a lot of films, typically like your own See You Soon, Kumbalangi Nights. All these films kind of broke out of the people that typically watch Malayalam cinema and found a bigger audience outside. And suddenly people were talking about them. And the second big thing is this year, when suddenly, like, Malayalam cinemas acquired a life of its own. Because in a sense, if you look at it, even last year we had like Mammootty doing Nanpagal Nerthumaikam, Kadal, and Kannur squad. So all like commercial, artistic things. Not that the two are separate anyway. But you had RDX, which was like
I
a huge
loved
hit
this
among the
movie.
youth, and which I would say was an action version of Premulu, whatever it is.
I loved
So you did
RDX
have
so
films last
much.
year, but
Such a fun
somehow
movie.
This year the conversation seems to have been about how everything is broken out. What's your take on that?
I'm just analyzing it because having produced Premlu and Aavesham, there is a huge surprise factor with the trade. I mean, everyone has been discussing about it.
Okay.
There's a huge growth of 40 to 50% theatrical revenue and everything. One, primarily, I believe all the films are very good. Whether it's Manjumal Boys or Premlu or Brahma
that has to be
Aavesham,
the
Vaishnavi
core
Krishna.
thing.
Another surprising, because you think a movie that's serious,
Absolutely,
doing
absolutely.
these kind of numbers is amazing. Yeah.
So one is that I think the films were very much inviting to the audience, and all the films were so different from each other. And that's a plus, I think.
That's a big plus.
Audience were ready to explore that in theaters. Secondly, like I said, the trade has grown.
I think here, of course, the credit goes to the people who make the film, but I also want to say that a major credit also goes to the audience who have made these films hit, because, like he said, all films are so different, and if the audience is very much closed in the thinking that no, we are going to watch only a certain kind of film in the theater, then the directors and the filmmakers are never going to find that strength to kind of say that no, even a rom-com is going to do great numbers, or even a thriller is going to do great numbers. It's not just going to be the massy film. So I think it has a lot to do with the audience perception and acceptance of that no, we're going to give every film a fair chance, and if it's a good movie, we're going to make that a blockbuster. So it's a contribution and a huge applause to the audience as well, in my opinion.
But Malayalam cinema, even now, doesn't have a solid backup of a internet platform.
Yeah.
We need to prove in theaters for any of these things to come in.
It'll change.
So it's not like
It'll
rest of
change.
India, where the film, almost 80% of the films are sold even
Yeah.
before the shoot is started.
Yeah.
Our model is not that. We need to finish the film, release the film, prove the film, and then.
Yeah.
So I think that way we are more self-sufficient now, I think. I mean, we are very, we understand the importance of making a film that's different, that will make noise. So I think everyone is on that mode now,
Yeah.
Let's make films that, that sort of reach out, and then rest of the
Things will
the
fall in
business
place.
or the exposure of the film get, let that be secondary, but let's try and make a noise here.
Right. So in this new age, let me say, or new era, whatever it is it going to be difficult to make your Mahishinda Pradikarams or the Totimutulam Dekshashyams, which kind
such
of
amazing
were this
films.
wonderful mix of, I would say, commercial but mainstream and
Very rooted and realistic.
I was having a chat with my friend yesterday, and I said, do anything in the next 5 years in Malayalam. Do anything. Do a film without dialogues. Do a film without music.
Ooh,
do a film without
dialogues, yes.
Do a black and white film again. So I think this is a time to explore everything.
right?
And don't, I mean, I don't think there's a point where we need to ask, should we not? Just do it. People are ready.
Right.
People are ready, the industry is ready, everything is, I think.
Let's do it.
Platform is set.
Let's
we just need
do
to
it.
go and explore it.
Right.
And let's not chase the 100 crore thing. I mean,
Yeah.
let's just do some meaningful films.
Something interesting.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But is that what you see? Because
See, this
you're a-
is where I think Hindi film industry has really, really gone off track, because the first thing which the trade analyst or everybody or the makers or even the audience, they think about is that, oh, the film needs to bare minimum make 100 crores, otherwise it's a shitty film. That's not how it works. So the focus has all gone on that 100 crore club, the 200 crore club, instead of actually like experimenting and making something different and providing some newness to the audience. So everybody is like 100 crore, 100 crore. Not just the filmmakers, the audience also. No, we have to make our favorite stars film 100 crore club, bare minimum, on the first weekend itself. The main heart is lost there, I feel. I hope that doesn't
You're
happen
not
to
just
Malayalam cinema.
an actor, Fahad. You're a hero. There's a difference between the two, because an actor is somebody who comes and does a good job and goes. And a hero is somebody who also has a box office stature. So you have to kind of, do you look at, like, whether when you sign a film, do you also look at, is this going to take me a little higher as a hero?
I look at recovery. I don't see it as I don't see a film as my personal growth or this can get me to the next level. No, I would rather produce a film, and so I get these highs producing films, or So for me, the high is not about me being good in a film. The high is about the film itself being
Good.
insanely different, and the wow factor, or so whether it's Kumblangi Nights or any of the films that I've eventually acted in as a producer, it's because we couldn't find any other actors. So Kumblangi Nights was written for another actor, and
What are you
things
saying?
never fell in place, and Sham just turned around and asked, just come and do it, man.
What
that's how
are
I did
you
it.
saying?
I want to be known for.
What are you guys saying? So you're telling me that Shami was not going to be Fahad initially? So the stars aligned for him to do that role. Oh my god. That role is goated, guys.
For the films I make and the characters I play.
Right. What I'm saying is there also you don't put on yourself the pressure of, not when I say that like if a film becomes like Aavesham's become a big hit, so that means that you have reinforced the fact that yes, audiences want to see me, like I'm a star. Isn't that important for a so that you get your kind of
No,
films
I'll
made?
reintroduce myself again after a couple of years. I want to do this. No, I don't want to do an Aavesham
He's
again.
so
I'm going to do.
nonchalant. I love it. He doesn't
Like, I'm
care.
going to shoot with Altaf Salim.
Oh,
Totally different film.
what's the name of the film? I'm sorry.
Like, I'm going to shoot with Altaf Salim.
Oh,
Totally different film.
it's, I thought that
boy
was
meets
being
girl
the
kind
English
of a-
translation also.
yeah, again, yeah. So Aavesham will never decide what I do next. Yeah.
Amazing.
Right. You know, one of my favorite films of your last maybe 5 years is Trance. Because I like these
When I fell in
films
love with
that
the guy
take a big
completely.
swing, you know, like
Yeah.
I have a crazy premise, I'm just going to go all out with it, and you're there, you're fully committed. Do you think today, had that film been made, maybe the audience should have come on board a little more?
I have my reservations on dealing with religion in Kerala. I don't think
That works.
No, I don't think. I don't think people would want to hear the harsh reality, if I may say. They want to be entertained, and what trans lacked after a point was that entertainment factor.
Oh, right.
There was a lot of awareness and things like that.
Okay.
But the entertainment factor was taken away from the film at some point, and that's where I think we failed. Having said that, I mean, a corrected second half trans would still make a lot of difference, but I wouldn't touch
But
religion
I
for
don't
a
think
while.
that's what he said.
right.
I don't think that's specific to Kerala. I think it's anywhere in the world, honestly. That listening to the harsh truth, it hurts your sentiments, but and nobody's ready for that conversation, to be very honest. I can honestly say that it would to a certain extent hurt my sentiment also if somebody comes and tells the harsh truths of my own religion. But truth is truth, basically, at the end of the day. So I understand what he's saying, but that's not really a specific to Kerala thing. It's everywhere. It's everywhere in the world. What do you guys think about that? Okay.
Now, in a recent interview, you said, I'm a better producer than I am an actor. What is that?
I have so many limitations as an actor.
Okay.
So many limitations. I have to keep asking my DOP, what's the lens? How close are we? How far are we? So there are so many things I
But
constantly.
other actors do that too.
Yeah, but I think an actor shouldn't do that. I've never seen Mammootty or Mohanlal doing that, So even my father says that, the moment you learn your lines and you're in front of the camera, you shouldn't be worrying about who's capturing you, what's been captured, or how you've been captured, So I'm very conscious that way. I ask my costumer, is it fitting well?
Oh, really? Interesting.
I keep discovering that there's so many limitations. I'm depending on so many people to get this right. As a producer, it's not like that. I give people immense freedom to explore, and I like that. And, when a person like Dileesh Potan or Shyam is given absolute freedom to explore, it's totally different than staying in and controlling and doing a film.
Right.
So, as a producer, I don't have any limitations. I'm willing to explore any which way.
Right.
But I have to be very cautious about the kind of films I act in.
When you're saying that, are you saying you're not a very comfortable actor?
No, I am an actor because I didn't find any other job. I'm still trying to
Saying that, but that's such a ridiculously immodest thing to say, considering what you've done.
I didn't do it alone, right? So it's so many other people, and
Films are a collaborative medium, Fahadh. No,
Yeah.
no directors can say I did it alone. No.
So I keep telling everyone, So can you ask Anwar Rashid to do a scene of trance with another actor? I'm sure he'll produce the same intensity because I know Anwar. How I went to Anwar and how Anwar got things out of me, I'm very I'm very aware of that. So I think he does that magic with any actor. So I don't know, it doesn't go to my head.
So he feels that he's
I'm
kind
not
of
saying it should go to
replaceable
head,
or
but I'm
something.
just saying that you must be aware that you're capable of executing a certain kind of. Let me talk about that. Like, for example, that dumb charade scenes in Aavesham, right? Now,
that
it
scene
starts
has
off as-
that scene has become like the talk of the town, huh? But it's so good. Honestly.
as fun, but then there's a very crucial aspect of yours that where what was very striking for me was the intensity that you maintain both when, because you are getting exasperated, something in you wants to burst out, but you want to keep the fun going.
Yeah.
But that fun, afterward, it becomes frustration. You're almost
yeah.
like looking like you want to kill somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
But then the fun returns.
Love that
That's a
scene.
very bizarre
I
and
love-
wonderful scene.
Lovely
But
scene.
like, tell me how, when are you going to say again that it was all Jitu or?
See, the intention of the scene was given to you, right? I mean,
He's
even
being
during
too
the first
modest,
narration,
huh?
the
He
scene was there.
doesn't know how
So
talented he
the
is.
purpose of the scene was clearly told to you. So the only thing I asked was to what extent can I pull it? Like,
The
how
intensity
far
factor.
can I take it? What Jitu told me is just take it to the max. Just take it till one of the actors sort of, break down or laugh out or, So that, I mean, when he said that, we all knew that, okay, fine, we had to play this in a way that there's so much more drama than what we actually, what he's actually written. So when you have a description like that, it's easy to. So what if Jitu had written, this has to be very controlled. Ranga has to be sitting. Ranga shouldn't be moving. Ranga has to sit in one chair and do this. Then this whole thing would be so difficult. So, like again, the stage was set. He said, just do it. Just do it. So, it's just not enough
But
that I
he's the
understand
one
the
who
scene.
executed, nah.
Everyone in that frame needs to understand the film.
Definitely,
I mean, yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
But
yeah.
what goes into your understanding of the scene? You obviously read what
Yeah,
the script is, and then you have your talk with your director, and then what happens to you? Is what do you?
See, I wanted the boys to get scared,
Okay,
but at the same time, at the end of the thing, I wanted the audience to laugh.
right.
I wanted these two meeting points. In that scene, my connect to the audience was these 2 points.
Right.
And I think we try to crack that, I think.
Right, and that's something that you say that this is what I want.
Yeah, I mean, I played around, so, and they'll pick up, so at some point Jitu will say, oh, this is the one. Yeah, let's do that.
Right,
So
right.
I don't go to sets with a definite pattern. I keep telling them, let's try this, let's try this. So in fact, I'm shooting Pushpa. Sukusa is like, so what do you want to do? I say, I don't know. Yeah, even I don't know. So you do 3, 4 options and we'll decide. So I find it.
That's so cool.
So even when you go to buy something at a shop,
That is so cool.
whatever it is that you want to buy, you don't buy the first thing you see, right?
You
look
explore.
at options. And,
Right.
So I mean, I think that's very important for a scene as well. You see multiple variations, and then you lock on a meter.
Right.
For me, it very constantly happens, and I'm a person who goes back to reshoot the first day work and all that. So it's primarily because there's a meter I try to crack.
Right.
And that's very important. That meter needs to align with the other actors as well.
Right.
And it's just not easy to just, get there.
Right.
So even with the scene, what I'm trying to, you would have seen this variation of Ranga in another scene also.
Yeah. It's not coming up. just
Absolutely,
there.
absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So the reason you say that sometimes you go back and reshoot things that you've done on the first day shoot, maybe three weeks later, is that because after that first day shoot and maybe during, let's say, the second week or something, that's when you crack the meter, and so you want that earlier scene also
Yeah.
to be
Redone.
redone.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm sure a lot of actors do this, but I don't know who. But this thing, the fact that it takes a certain amount of time for him to kind of get into the skin of the character, and then he is willing to go and reshoot it to just ensure that there is this consistency in the behavior of that particular character. How many actors would even do that? Honestly, tell me, guys. Huh? I'm a skeptical here because I don't think a lot of people would want to do that. But I mean, I think it's just a handful of actors, in my opinion. But I could be wrong, so you guys can let me know. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It's not coming up. Just
Absolutely,
there.
absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So the reason you say that sometimes you go back and reshoot.
Sorry,
things
I
that you've done
repeated
on the
this part
first day
again.
shoot, maybe three weeks later. Is that because after that first day shoot and maybe during, let's say, the second week or something, that's when you crack the meter,
Yeah.
and so you want that earlier scene also to be
Redone. Yes.
Okay.
I have evidently seen that. I understand the character much better after after 3 weeks of shoot than the
Okay.
after enacting or
after
embodying
playing
that.
around and yeah. And
Makes
I
sense.
always get this clarity after playing around with other actors.
How they
Nyan
respond.
Prakashan. I went to Satyanan and said, I want to reshoot one of the scenes we did earlier. And he said, why? No, it's only when I did a scene with Sriniar and I understood, this has to be the meter.
Okay.
So that always happens. That always happens. And Aavesham also, I mean, all my films I've reshot. Yeah.
Oh.
Right? By now,
And surprisingly, I did an audition for a foreign production house. I'm not using any names.
Please
but
use.
This is the first time ever
Wouldn't
I did an
know.
audition. And they gave me a scene, and I don't know, I mean, very sweet people, all of them, very sweet, and So I got a scene, and I don't know anything before the scene or after the scene. I know a big actor is doing that scene, and the scene is with me, or I have to do that scene with him. And that's when I realized that even my closest friend cannot crack me with just a scene. Like, he comes and gives me a scene, I will not be able to crack anything. I have to evolve. Like, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but this is my
that's your
method.
thing,
I'm happy with this method.
no, fair enough.
Yeah.
Because, see, you indirectly gave, I was going to ask you what your general process in approaching a thing is. And basically, you're saying that I have to live with that character for a while
absolutely.
in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And once I live with that character for a while, I slowly start finding the little things
absolutely.
Yeah.
that,
Absolutely.
for example, that grin in
And
Thonti Muthalam Dirishakshiyam.
mostly, more than me finding it, I let others see it. It's easier for me to judge,
Right.
So, because I'm not a person who goes with a script, I go with capturing,
Right.
like I believe the
response
most
that
beautiful
the other
thing about
actor.
filmmaking is capturing. Right. It's a slightly hard process, but it's fun. It's
Right.
really, yeah.
But you're not one of those people who romanticizes acting and all that.
No.
It's a job.
It's a job for him.
Now,
It's very
you having worked
practical.
with,
It's a job for him.
Mammootty Mohanlal, so I have to ask you this with veterans from another language. You worked with Kamal Haasan, you worked with Rajinikanth.
I've worked with Mammootty, sir.
You worked with Mammootty?
Emmanuel.
Oh, long back.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
that
yeah.
film?
So
How's
when
the movie?
You watch Kamal Haasan act, Mohanlal act, Rajinikanth act now. As an actor, what is it do you think they bring to their scenes? Are you able to kind of look at them as not just a fan but as an actor?
When I see each of them perform individually, it's not that I don't get their process or the method, but I understand how they are so sincere in front of camera. Like, they're very honest in front of camera. And that's because they purely believe everyone is equal in front of camera. Whether it's Rajni sir or Kamal sir or Mamuka sir, I mean, they come and they explore the scene, they ask the other actors. So there is a sort of discussion which actually makes you feel, okay, we all are the same here. And that eases out a lot of things. And I've noticed this with all three of them. I mean, I'm sure Lalsa also has that. Or, I mean, the other stars in Telugu or in Bombay will also have that. But my situation was a little different when I met them. So when I first worked with Mamuka, I think I had already done Diamond Necklace and Anayam Rasoolum. So we were at a point where he wanted to discuss and he wanted to know, my process and all that. By the time I met Kamal sir, I'd done See You Soon and Rajni sir, I keep asking, sir, have you seen any of my films? No, I don't want to see your films. I know.
He's not seen any of his films.
He's seen Vikram and Mamanan and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Not the films that made you. Yeah.
no, but I think he's heard about me, I guess. But regardless, for me, it's just absolutely brilliant. Just seeing them learn a line and deliver it. So when they do that, for me, it's it's the history of cinema that runs through me.
Yeah.
When Rajni sir, he stands there and does this and all that. For me, it's so unreal for me.
He has the fan
I'm
lens.
tripping on all that. And
Yeah.
what I'm discovering or learning, for me, it's the witnessing all this itself is a
Right. But you're also saying that in a way it comes back to your own philosophy that they're also collaborative actors. And
absolutely. See, the intention of me going there is not to do a Basha or a Tevar Magan or anything. It's pure talent collaboration. Just want to go there and interact with them and, talk to them. And I'm very fortunate that I have that relation with all of them now. Like, I just go to them and ask them, So how do you shoot the sequence in Tevar Magan or in Nayagan? And he'll have an answer, you know. So that was what I wanted always, you know. Absolute talent collaboration where I can go discuss my stuff, they can come discuss their stuff, and that's happening. That's very clearly happening.
Nice.
But what you call talent collaboration, there are certain websites, especially in the Malayalam industry, that kind of keep raising this question, you know, why is Fahadh going and acting in like relatively supporting roles in languages, in other language films? And like, how do you answer that? Well, like, why can't he come and act in Malayalam films in bigger roles? Is what their question is. They're anguished, I think. I don't know.
So
Is
I don't work on timelines.
I did not know
I have
this.
no sense of timelines. I never finish things on time. I never start things on time. Like all that, there's no plan for all this. I'm just doing things that I'm excited about. And evidently, I tell my audience, my commitment to them is just, I'll try and make the film watchable. I don't want them to think about me otherwise. I don't want them to think worry about what I'm doing with my life. Just don't take me seriously when you leave theaters.
Right.
Just think about me in the theater. That's all. And I don't want people to
That's-
talk about.
I mean, not, I swear, 90% of actors would never say that. Like, don't think about me. Because, you know, that attention and that actors want that. You know, you want to, when you come into this field, that's the general perception, right? You want to be a star and you want people to think about you, talk about you so that you stay relevant, talk about you, search about you. He's like, don't do any of it. Huh? Bro, don't do any of it. Just come watch my movie. When you leave the theater, I just hope you have a good time in the theater. Just leave the theater, get on with your life. I so admire him for that. See, I already loved him as an actor, but now I love him as a person also, listening to all this. Like, he's so practical. I love that. I love that. Yes.
Talking about actors.
Is that the reason why he refused to like make his fan club? Like, he refused to have a fan club of his own. That, okay, I don't want people dedicating their lives in promoting me, basically. Right? Is that I'm sure that's the reason.
The performance on the dining table, you know, let them just discuss in the theater or maybe on the way back home. That drive, you know, not more than that. Cinema is not beyond that, you know. Cinema has a limit, and let's just put it there.
Love him.
That's not how a cinephile operates. But the point of being
That's what I want to change, you know. That's what I'm not saying I want to change, but there's more that you can do with your life than watching, you know.
No, definitely. See, the thing is, but the point is, if a medium, it could be anything. It could be writing, it could be whatever, photography, it could be anything, right? If most people have music, for instance, like if you're obsessed about music.
Cricket does 20 times of what cinema does.
You mean in terms of money?
Everything.
Yeah.
Cricket does 20 times of what cinema does.
But the point is, if something obsesses you, you end up talking about this batsman's, strokes or play, the way he approaches a shot, the way he did that in the previous game. It's not. So I'm saying that for me, the way you acted in Aavesham versus the way you approach the role in Pushpa, the similar larger than life.
There's a thin line.
I don't think it's a waste of time.
But I think I feel that Fafa will explain it, but what I feel, my understanding is that he's talking about that borderline obsession that people have. You know, that crazy fan behavior, that he doesn't want that to happen, right? Because, like it or not, things like movies say, even he's talking about cricket, they influence our life a lot, right? So I think that obsession shouldn't be there. You talk about it and then you move on, right? Unless and until it's your job. Like, I have a channel here. You know, Baradwaj Rangan, he has a channel. That's literally his bread and butter. So I think there's a thin line, obviously.
Yeah, so the life of that should be till I do a next film, not till I do my,
right, but because you are a constantly evolving actor, and the films are also constantly evolving because audiences change, new directors come in, they breathe in new blood. It's fascinating to look at things in a continuum rather than just that particular, Fahadh did Aavesham, it's a hit, let's move on. You know, it's not that.
It sounds more beautiful, right? He did Aavesham, done. So now let him come with something else. Why think about him, you know?
I think we need to have a longer conversation with this after
So,
the
I think Amar does this. I mean, at least Amar used to do that in 2000s and all that. He would disappear after Lagan and Dil Chahta Hai and come with a Mangal Pandey, again disappear and come back with, you know. So, I think, I've heard Dilip sir does that. Dilip Kumar Saab used to do that. I like that.
You like that?
I like that. I don't want anyone to talk about me or celebrate me or anything. Just watch my films, and that too only if it's good. If it's not good, don't watch it. I'm very clear about that. Yeah.
Right. When you say
I like
that,
this approach.
You accept films because it gives you the chance to do something that's new, right?
Like I like that he's not high and mighty about him. Like from my point of view, because I love him as an actor, I have seen the kind of cinema that he's doing, his acting abilities. So for me, it's very very fascinating, right? For me as a cinephile. So and he's like, okay, don't continuously think about me, this and that. I'm just saying him as an actor, he doesn't realize the pool. Probably he realizes, but he's being modest, and I think he kind of gives himself a reality check. Like, okay, let this not go over my head because I need to continue to do good work. So I like that approach a lot. Like a very realistic approach. That's nice.
In some films, like Aavesham, for instance, do you also have a gut feeling that I think this film is really going to break out? I think this film is going to become like quite a big hit. Does that happen?
I had that with Kumbalangi.
Okay.
I had that with Kumbalangi. I had that with Varathan. In fact, I had with Trans, but I was wrong. But with Trans, I thought that's what, you know, with religion, you shouldn't take religion or any such thing as a setting for a film. It can only be a factor.
But you've also had movies like Ayurveda Pustakam, I think, which kind of
Nice movie.
looked at Job's story through
Yeah. But there was no religion or anything. I mean,
Oh, you mean in the movie?
in the film.
Yeah,
in the
okay,
film.
okay.
Yeah. So I generally have that. I had that with Nyan Prakash. And like I said, the artistic side is there. The other side is more active. Like I spoke about the recovery and all that. Right. So I'm very active that way. I'm very sharp with numbers. So I'm very conscious that way. I'm worried about the recoveries.
He's a
the
producer
costing
after
and
all.
everything.
Right.
So I'm involved in that.
Right.
very
So
much.
supposing you are like producing, let's say a movie with, forget Aavesham because that gives you a gut feeling, but let's say you're producing a movie that you're like, okay, I like this movie, but I'm not so sure, then you'll work accordingly so that the costs are manageable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
Can you name a movie that you did that way?
Malayan Kunja?
Malayan Kunya?
Oh.
I was going to just say that. Yeah.
Very, I mean, of course, Rahman and everyone was there, but
The scale of the film
Yeah,
is-
scale of
it's
the
an
film. Also,
intimate-
it's not a easy film to watch. You know, it's not
Yeah.
very easy. A lot of people complain of claustrophobia and things like that. So, yeah. So such models, yeah, we prepare ourselves. You know.
Okay.
Right. There have been a bunch of Malayalam film directors that I like a lot, and I cannot name now, but you know a lot of them, and you worked with a lot of them, that have come to me and said, not come to me as in when I met them at festivals and other things, they all say that they all want to make a certain kind of movie, but the market's kind of pushing them to make a slightly different kind of movie. And I go back to the word that you said early on, which is entertaining. As long as something is entertaining, it's being consumed by the audience. Has entertainment in some way become a must? And if so, how do you define entertainment? For example, let's take Adajividam, big blockbuster. How would you define the word entertainment with respect to that? Because in a way, the survival aspect mirrors that of Malayan Kunya.
Yeah.
The scale is different, all that is different.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
when you
yeah,
look at the basic story of,
So, I think by entertaining, isn't it just good enough that you hijack the audience? Even if it's just for a scene, if you can just totally get them into the film.
okay,
For me, that's entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, you
Same
can't have
for
the
me
audience
also.
with you
Just the engagement with the
throughout
film.
the 2 hour, 30 minutes running time or anything. But wherever you can actually, I mean, you make the film like that, right? With the hope that end of this act, audience are going to get locked in. End of this act, you know, there's a relief point for them.
Yeah.
And again, they'll get in. So when you plan a screenplay, these moments are there. And while you're shooting it, for me, it's about, okay, let's see the possibility of this moment. Let's see how much can we connect to the audience, right? Whether it's Adajividam or Maluti or Malengunya or Manjumal Boys, I think the entertainment factor was that audience at some point getting locked into it.
Right.
And that and that needs to be built on, you know, that has to go on to emotional level. That has, you know, if need be, that has to go on to a revenge level, or, you know, I mean, it
Just the
depends on the
emotional
story that
investment.
you're narrating. But
I got what
the
he's
basic
saying.
entertainment is to actually lock in the audience with your main act at some point.
Right, right. That's an interesting definition, because typically when people say entertainment, they mean you laugh, you cry.
So that's what I've read. I think so. Mani sir in one of the interviews said music brings in a lot of relief. So that is also a factor. Maybe, like I said, that connect you one with the audience is a relief point.
Right.
So the music can be one of the aspects. So different directors use different tricks for this. There are directors who just use a dissolve and hold a black screen for 2 seconds.
Right.
You know, so different people have different methods to crack this.
Okay.
But these are the moments. I mean, you should know about that before you start your film, where you're actually trying to bring in the audience and, you know, just log them totally.
Right.
So I mean, you discover these points and then sort of.
Right. So by, like, in these many years of acting in movies, being part of movies as producers, being a director's son, all that, seeing all that, do you think now you have a fair idea of what entertainment is and how to lock an audience?
Sir, the thing about what still, I still have to look at a mirror before I give a shot. I still have to ask my costume guy. And there are boys who do this so easily in front of a selfie cam. They don't care. They're so organically they're doing it. They go around, they show things, and I don't know how they do that. You know, so it's changing in a pace that's difficult for us to catch up with. I mean, when I say this, I'm sure writers are experiencing this, or the musicians are experiencing this. So the world or the society is evolving at a pace where catching up is hard. But
Everybody's trying at least.
there is so much to reflect on, or, you know, there's so much to discuss in this, you know, because there's so much change happening.
Right.
There's so much to discuss.
Right.
So I think it will go in tally, I think, you know.
So when you were on the sets of Aavesham and the three boys are there, who are all like YouTube, that generation, right?
Big stars,
Did you see that difference?
Absolutely. I mean, so one time we were shooting next to a school, and I was in the vanity. I was called for the shot, and suddenly they came in and said, "No, don't come. The school just left." I said, "Yeah." So, but, you know, I'm sitting in the vanity, so it's a big deal. So, hipster. Apparently, he's so popular with the younger crowd, and
That's what I've heard.
It was
yeah.
it was Bangalore, not Malayalam kids, Malayali kids or anything. Kids came in, they stood just to see him, say hi to him, just wave at him. So everyone is a star in their own way, and, you know, and I always tell people, you know, the younger generation, they're not bothered about the camera, they're not bothered about the lens, they're not conscious, like, you know, because they've been seeing and involving with this for a long time. It doesn't matter to them how they're captured, or. And I see that with a lot of talents now. I mean, Aavesham also. These boys, I've never seen them going and asking, where's the camera, or what is the lens.
They're like, we're just happy, just say
Even
action.
when I run to the monitor after every shot, they're not bothered. They're just there, you know.
They're like, it'll be taken care of.
You can perform and not worry about anything else. I think that's magical.
But that might make your life a little easier, no? If you could.
If I can do that, if I can give a shot and not be worried about how it is, that's dream. I'll quit after that.
So would you say that there's also a bit of a control freak in you that wants things to be a certain way?
I'm a bit of OCD. That's there.
Right.
Yeah, because he can choose not to just go and check the monitor every time a shot is given, but he does it because that's how his brain is wired, basically.
Find it hard, but so now you found your way, right? You know, so
right. But are there directors who came and say, "Okay, Fahadh, I know you want this take, but I'm going to stick with my decision of this take because for me that works."
Every director showed me that. Everyone has a different way of saying this. Jitu Madhavan, maybe he'll say, no, it's okay. I like that. Let's go with that.
But
Anwar would say, I got what I wanted. Now, if you want to explore, we'll explore. So everyone has a different way of saying that. Dilesh has a different way of saying it. So, yeah, so.
but everybody said it.
In Aavesham itself, was there any one scene that you say was the most difficult thing to play? Because it involved a lot of physicality. There were these single shot, single take things.
So Aavesham itself had a lot of difficult. So, sometimes we wonder, this guy needs to be funny, or does he needs to look
Menacing.
more. Does he have to be a hero kind of a guy? Does he have to be a villain? Or so this
He was everything, bit of everything.
He could be anything.
Yeah.
And it was important for us to choose on a flavor and play around with it. So it was very difficult. So now we have to do a part 2, it's easy. But now, to get into to give him a structure with all these emotional, or the dark side of his past, or his innocence, or his foolishness, to package everything into that form was a little difficult, but now, it'll be a cakewalk.
He made it look so easy, man, with his acting.
Just to take us through it, is there one point which you can just remember offhand where you kind of found it a little difficult to get into that scene or mode or zone? Or?
So the mother's thing, so there was a sequence, in the climax where I cry. So this was shot 3 different timelines.
Okay.
Because I looked 3 different looks. It's a single shot, but
when his face gets revealed
in 3 different timelines. So every shot had to have that intensity of this man being alone. His mother left him, or his brother he trusted left him, or the boys he trusted left him. For me, it was very, very difficult to get that aspect, that this man is alone. This man is alone. And he's never been alone in the film.
Right.
There are 3 scenes where you see him alone. One, he's dancing after his shower or getting ready. Then you see him sitting and eating. Then there's a sequence where Bibi calls him. These are the only 3 scenes in Aavesham you see him alone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's never alone. So to make audience believe that he is alone with a shot was very difficult. That matching that aspect was a little difficult.
Across those 3.
I asked him for a scene from the past. I said, don't you think a scene with his mother would make a lot more impact than a shot like this? And he said, it's so easy. Anyone can do that.
Actually, that's true.
Anyone can do that. And that shocked me. And he just sat in front of me and said, flashback, anyone can do that, right?
But just to get the point across with that one shot.
Right. So you have to bring the flashback into your...
In a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that we've discovered you don't like talking about films, what are some of your favorite Indian or international films, in the sense of what of the films that have made Fahadh go, I would love to be a part of something like this?
Cinema Paradiso.
Okay.
It changed my life.
I have heard a lot about this movie, but I've not watched it, obviously. If anybody has watched it, let me know.
I still wish to give the audience who watch my film what I felt watching Cinema Paradiso. And
You feel you haven't done that?
Oh, no, not anywhere close.
He's like, no way.
I have not changed anyone's life. Cinema Paradiso changed my life.
But how can you say that, Fahadh?
Somebody has to say it.
I've not met anyone.
Please,
changed my wife's life.
please meet me. Huh? I'll tell you.
When
I'll tell you how your movies changed my life.
Yeah, so, I'm talking about the impact a film did to me. Also, Amor's Perros, or a lot of films, but what I wish for is that what these films did to me, before I quit, with at least one of my films, I want to give that experience to the audience.
Right.
He needs
Do you have
to.
plans to direct films?
He needs to
I
meet
can't
me,
direct.
guys.
I can't.
Is it
I
the
need to
OCD
meet
thing,
him.
or?
I can't direct. I'm not.
But how do you know that?
Sham says that I can write,
Oh.
but he's never offered a film or anything.
But have you written on your films?
Not
Acting is a
evidently.
form of writing.
Yeah, that's what. So sometimes you write and you give them your draft, and
Okay.
so it's not evidently right, but yeah.
So thank you for being here and having a difficult time with this interview. But I just have to ask you this finally. What does it feel like when you always run into articles or people talking about Fahadh Faasil's eyes?
I have my mother's eyes, and no one saw it till I was 30 years, I think. And so it's a
Aw.
shock for me, you know. What is that they see that no one else saw for the first 30 years of my life? No one spoke about it in school or college or, you know. I think it's thanks to whoever invented ARRI, you know, and it's the lenses and the camera and the shift to digital cinema that's
Right.
helped me, I guess.
But thank you for your time, Fahadh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Absolutely.
Looking forward to your big lineup this year. You have
Pushpa.
Pushpa 2
Yeah.
with Allu Arjun. You have Vettaiyan with Rajnikant. You have...
And I have a beautiful small film with Altaf Salim.
Oh, that's the one that you want.
I'm going to start.
you're
I'm
kind
going
of
to
gonna
start shooting that.
That's going to be out this year as well?
We're trying end of the year, but yeah.
Okay.
I also have a very cute film with Vadivel sir that I'm doing in Tamil.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, so-
That's also this year. Wow, that's a busy year.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
busy
So, I mean,
year.
I'm almost done with those films. I, hardly have another schedule, but all fun films. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm,
Thank you,
I'm
Fahadh.
happy. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Nice. Lovely, lovely. This was a very insightful and fun interview. I like how he doesn't take himself very seriously and he doesn't want us to also take himself seriously. But what he said about him wanting, at least if he changes somebody's life watching his cinema, sure it has happened. Guys, what are you saying? Huh? Flood his internet DMs or whatever saying that, okay, your so-and-so film has changed my life. Maybe I should only do that. So, but this was beautiful. I loved it. That's what it's so rare. Like, this is a rarity. Just watching him talk about his film, and even BR, he asks amazing questions. He's literally one of my favorite reviewers out there. So always amazing to watch his interviews, and if it's with one of my favorite actors, then yeah, Sone Pe Suhaga. So anyway, that was the reaction. I've already shared my thoughts in between, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, I will end this video here, and I will see you soon on my next one. Bye.